Hey guys, this is Dana, and this is episode number 53 of the Ask a Question show, the show in which you ask a question about any type of narcissistic or otherwise abusive or toxic relationship or situation, and I, along with the rest of the community here, will do our very best to help answer it. Our goal is to give you the feedback and the support that you need so that you can move forward in getting all of the clarity, the closure, and the healing that you so deserve. And so today's question comes from Anonymous, and Anonymous asks, Dear Dana, it's been about 4.5 months since I've gone no contact with my emotional abuser. We were in a relationship for 5 years. I'm still in great pain daily. I know I've done the right thing, but I never thought it would hurt so bad considering the worst of his behavior was in the last 6 months of our relationship. Intellectually, I know I've saved my life by leaving him, but now I feel like my life is so hollow, it's almost like it doesn't matter. I've made some new friends, but talking to them pales in comparison to talking to him. He's very smart and he really held my attention. He lives in the same town as I do, and I've seen him talking to my neighbors on my street about 3 times since I've cut him off. He's called me once, but his number was blocked from my phone. He could easily call me from somebody else's phone, but somehow I think he'll respect my wishes because in the end, he told me he wished he'd never met me and he wanted to get on with his life. I have a large dog who keeps him away from me and my home. Still, I fear that I will run into him without my dog, or somehow that he'll find me in person. If so, I don't know what to say to him, or I'm afraid I'm going to cry and fall apart. I don't feel strong enough to keep a straight face. So, what are your thoughts with how to move forward? Okay, lots of great questions. So let me try to address them one at a time here. You mentioned that your life feels really hollow and that these new friends of yours just really pale in comparison to the connection that you had with this guy. I just want you to know I think that that's really, really normal. You're only 4.5 months out. I know that that might kind of feel like a long time, but you guys were a couple for 5 years. Even though it was a real rocky 5 years, it was still 5 years. And so it's normal to have this kind of grieving period after a relationship, even if that relationship was bad. So, because people, are rarely 100% bad. There was something that that you liked about him, and it sounds like he was there were some things that you really connected with, his intellect and his conversational abilities, these kinds of things. Again, totally normal. That's why I think a lot of us have these mixed emotions when these relationships end, because we were getting something out of them. I mean, they're not generally 100% bad. So with that, I would strongly encourage you to join meetup.com. And I mentioned this website many times before, and I'm going to keep mentioning it because it's such a great one. It's, there's lots of different groups that you can join on there. I mean, you name it. You can sign up for groups that do French cooking or learning French or going to France or, sushi making, or they have dinner party groups, or, people that have dogs that like to go to the same dog park. You name it. There's tons and tons of groups out there. I would encourage you, join like 20 different ones. I kid you not, like join 20. And then you don't have to go to all of their different meetups, but it really opens up your social calendar so that you can. And there's groups there too that are, maybe around book clubs or philosophy, kind of more maybe intellectually stimulating, that you might really enjoy going to as well. Some of my closest friends at this point in my life have seriously come from meetup.com. So I love the website. It's a much better alternative than trying to join a dating site to go out and meet new people that way. Like, that's kind of a recipe for disaster. But meetup.com, super healthy, have a good time. I think the more energy you pour into making your own life kind of be everything that you would ideally want it to be, and doing all of these hobbies that you've been wanting to do for years, the more focus you put on you and put on the positive and what you do have control over, the less you're going to be focused on him, because you're not going to have the time. And the more people that you do meet that you are clicking with, the less you're going to have this pull towards the connection that you had with him. And, all relationships, again, healthy, unhealthy, what have you, we tend to lose perspective, and we tend to think that this relationship was kind of the end all be all, and that our connection with this person was so amazing. And I think, it's so funny because I personally really felt that exact same way with Jack and then again with Steve. But then it's so funny because now I go, I do things, I have hobbies, I have friends, I have people that I have totally different connections with. And I look back on my connections with Jack and Steve, and there were a lot of good things that we connected on, but none of it was real. And so man, it just talk about pales in comparison. The people that I do have in my life that are sincere and real and honest and on the level and that are great people, you couldn't pay me to go back and to have that connection with Jack or Steve again. It's not even, I don't even miss it because none of it was real. I mean, it was just, it's not, I mean, no. Like the connection's not even in the same zip code. I mean, the connections that I have now with people are just so much better, and I think that you will find that too in time. It just takes a while for that grief of this relationship ending to just kind of wear off. So that's kind of that for the first point. Okay, but you mentioned, here's what freaks me out. Okay, so you mentioned that you're finding him on the same street as you, and he's talking to your neighbors. You're concerned about him coming to your house, or if your dog's not with you. That's really unnerving. There's no real I don't know why he would be on the same street as you talking to your neighbors. So there's a couple things I would do. I would try to anticipate his behavior to the best of your ability. So if you've already seen him on your street, there's a couple, he's probably driving past your house, he's probably kind of keeping an eye on you. That's not cool. So I would make sure you have changed all of the locks. If he ever had a key to your house, make sure that you're locking your doors, locking your windows, that you can get these timers, that plug into outlets that you can plug in a lamp to, and then they go on and off at different times of the day. That way he doesn't know when you're home. That's another thing I would do. I would change the route that you're driving to work. I would change the route that you're walking your dog, to kind of just lessen the chance of you running into him. Yes, I know all of this is inconvenient and it's annoying and it's frustrating, but I think that you're going to find it's better to be annoyed and frustrated than it is to possibly run into him when you're not prepared. And so kind of, okay, what can you do if you run into him? Well, here's another part of being prepared and anticipating this. You can get cans of mace that are for, joggers that have like, I don't know, a strap around your wrist. If you get a can of mace, definitely practice with it ahead of time. So like you want to spray it outside. You want to see how big of a stream is there? Is it aerosol or is it more of just a solid stream? You want to practice how do you open the can of mace and what do you have to do to turn it. A lot of those canisters are not intuitive at all, and it's not something that you want to try to figure out when you actually need it. So knowing that ahead of time. If you are going out of your house on a walk alone for whatever reason, making sure that you have a fully charged cell phone with you. And if you do see him, realize you don't have to say anything to him. Like you have control over that. So you can turn around and walk the other direction. You can quickly call somebody on your cell phone or just pretend that you're talking to somebody. You can have headphones with music on or headphones with you and then put them in your ears. So it's sort of an excuse to not talk to him. Or if you did want to talk to him, to just smile and just say hey, and then quickly just keep walking. And if you get to your car and you break down and you start crying, that's okay too, because it's an emotional experience running into these people again. And you don't need to give him any opportunity to be ugly to you. If you have no reason to talk to him, if you guys don't have kids together, if there's no ties, then there's no reason for you to talk to him. That's how I see it. Just hi, and then keep walking really quickly past him. And if he tries to deter you, just say, you know what, I'm in a real big hurry. I'll see you when I see you. And then just quickly get the hell out of there. You might even want to call the police. Again, if he's hanging out on your street, there's no reason for that. That's stalking. That's creepy behavior. I would take that very seriously if you see him again. So I'm going to link to a couple other videos that I think might help. One is on hoovering. One is on going gray rock, which are two concepts that I'm kind of talking about in this video here. And I think that's what I got for you. So just realize, it does take time to get over these relationships. Focus on having fun. Focus on getting reconnected to yourself. and bringing enjoyment and fun back into your life. So that's what I got for you. I'll be curious to see what everybody else has to say. We can continue this conversation down below in the comments. And as always, lots of love to you guys. You're not alone. You are not crazy, and you really can heal from this. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.